So hey everyone, welcome to Flicks Talk. I know it's been a long time. I think that's my show's name. Flicks Talk? Is that right? Anyway, I think it is. That's how long it's been. It's been forever. So I thought I'll do today's a little bit different. Maybe. This is going to be about a person, but about this guy's work. He's mainly known as an author, and so a lot of his work have been adapted into movies and into TV movies and TV miniseries. So I'm going to do this in different chapters. So this is going to be chapter 1. And it's going to be a little bit about him and about the work that he's done, that he wrote, that have been adapted into movies, as in motion pictures. You know, you go to the movies to see that. But first, who am I talking about? He's known as the King of Horror, and as I said, he's mainly known first and foremost as an author, and then he's taken his crack at directing, and he has a point of being in some of his films, and he really strongly, highly suggests those filmmakers to film the movies that are based on his books, or adapted from his books, to be filmed in Maine. So, I'm giving you a few hints, y'all. Chapters, King of Horror. Anyway, King of Horror. So, I'm talking about Stephen King, if you didn't catch on to a few hints. But, you know, Stephen King, he doesn't just write his books under his name, Stephen King. It's also a few other pen names that he goes by. And so he goes by 3 different pen names. And the most common one that he's written that's actually had movies and stuff adapted from is Richard Bachman. And I actually have a book of his. I have 4 books of Stephen King's, and y'all, I have not read any of his books, but I did actually buy one because I want to read it because I love the movie, TV movie, so y'all have to wait till chapter 2 to spread it, you know, that's chapter 2, all the TV stuff is chapter 2, so y'all gotta wait for the next video to hear that one. His other pen names are, I have it written down here, is, John Swithin and Burl Evans. So, John Swithin and Burl Evans. Besides Stephen King and Richard Bachman. I don't know what, book titles. I didn't go in that depth. If y'all want to really do your research on Stephen King or know more about it, then y'all know what books he wrote or stories that he wrote with, those names, but I tend to just to go with Stephen King. Kind of works for me. So he was born in, guess what? He was born in Maine in 1947. So in September of 47, he is known for writing books in genres as in horror, supernatural fiction, suspense, crime, sci-fi, and fantasy novels. All his books combined and everything have sold over 350 million copies. And I already told you that, you know, a lot of his work has been adapted into films, into TV, TV series, miniseries, and even some have actually been adapted into comic books. I am not covering comic books on this one. That might be a chapter 3, but right now I'm going to kind of do like a creep show thing there'll be a Creepshow and a Creepshow 2, and then they would years before they make a 3, and the third one kind of sucked. But, you know, never mind, that's not gonna jump, I'm keeping myself on track here. The movies! I'm talking about movies on movies. But here, let me show you, since, as I said, first and foremost, Stephen King and Richard Bachman, John Swinton and Burl Evans. Stephen King is first and foremost as an American author. So, the books that I own of his, I don't have, they're hardback, but I don't have, like, the paper covering, so whatever. So look, S.K., Stephen King, here you go, Dolores Claiborne, Stephen King, and here we go again with, look, S.K. Now this one I do want to read, because I like the movie, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and maybe I'd like to see the differences. So Christine, you know, and here, this is the one I bought, which I love the movie. So here we go, Stephen King, Salem's Lot. Here's a picture of him, just in case y'all don't know what he looks like. Hopefully everyone knows who Stephen King is. If you don't know who Stephen King is, you are like just born a toddler, you know, starting your life. Hopefully the people are my age, a little bit younger and older, they know who he is. But see, look at it. Oh wait, hold on. Here is a Richard Bachman book. I was trying to see here. See, look, there's nothing, no SK or anything on there, or no SK on here. So, but it's thinner. So Richard Bachman, thinner. So those are the books I have, and those books were actually given to me to like be traded in, but the bookstore that I would trade it into, they don't accept books like that, so I decided to keep them. It has to have the paper covering. He's so picky. He's nudie. Anyway, so Stephen King has written a lot of stuff, and so a lot of his stuff has been adapted into movies and into TV series and miniseries and comic books. So I've only just selected a few to talk about. Even some I didn't even write down I was going to talk about. I may talk about. I don't know. Depends on how I feel. So, Stephen King. First, his first movie that was, you know, adapted from a book of his was Carrie, 1976. You know, Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, Amy Irving, a young John Travolta, you know, before Grease and Saturday Night Fever, probably the very beginning of Welcome Back, Kotter, and probably some other people you may know, just off the top of my head. The thing with Carrie, I don't know the difference between the books and the movies. As I said, I didn't read any of his stuff, so for you readers and have read his books and seen the movies, y'all know the differences. So, but what I like about Carrie, and I know some movies afterwards tried to imitate and try to do the same thing as Brian De Palma did. He's the director. Is that the ending? You take the ending of Carrie, and it's kind of like iconic a little bit. You know, it's like a jump scene when I first saw Carrie, and you know, you see Amy Irving standing over at Carrie's grave, and all of a sudden her hand pops up out of the grave. I jumped. I probably jumped maybe the second or third time I saw the movie, but I expect it now when I watch it. But I'm quite sure, even though you've seen it multiple times, you still jump. It's just, it has that effect on you. I would actually like to see that movie on the big screen. That would probably be really cool. I know they remade it, and I'm not really touching on any sequels that have been kind of spawned off his work, because that's mainly movies. But of course, they do give Stephen King, you know, a little bit credit, you know, characters based upon, you know, his work. So, and everybody knows he makes it public. Stephen King does not like his film adaptation of The Shining, the 1980 The Shining, you know, with Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall. Maybe it was Stanley Kubrick, I don't know. It's just easy. Stanley Kubrick was perfectionist, I guess, you know, to take multiple takes of some scenes. Just like on Eyes Wide Shut, he took like 90 takes of Tom Cruise closing a door. It had to be perfect. So I don't know if it was some of that or just some of the his perfectionism, whatever. But I don't know the differences. Well, I do know the differences actually, because, well, I will go ahead and say this, that there's this guy on YouTube. Y'all need to look him up if you want to find out little tidbits of information, kind of like the 10 things you may not know about certain movies. I am like addicted to this guy. He's Australian, and I think he actually lives in Australia, and makes all these videos. I don't know if it's daily, weekly. He spits them out pretty quick. So he does his work, and I just did a quick look just moments ago for this video, and I jotted down 18 videos that he's done on Stephen King stuff. So, and he's done one, like, you know, 10 things you may not know. He's done one about Carrie, and he's done one about the Shining miniseries, but I think he's also done one with The Shining. You know, there's two The Shining. There's the Shining miniseries that I think came out in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, you know, with Steven Weber. I have not seen that. I don't know. I have not seen it. I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's good or not. So, I cannot comment on that one. But his name is Minty, or his videos. His name is Minty, but it's Minty Comedic Arts. I'll try to put a link down on the video, but yeah, y'all need to check him out, because it's not just Stephen King stuff, but he's done a lot, and he's done a lot of other, you know, 10 things you may not know about. Just like last night, I was kind of doing some stuff, and I actually saw one on 10 things you may not know about the adventures of babysitting. So it's not just Stephen King, it's that. He's done horror, he's done a whole bunch of, like, genres, so. And he does, like, characters, just like, this is Stephen King, so, and I know this is TV, but I'll go ahead and say, he's done a video on, Pennywise. Sometimes it's things you may not know, or just fun facts about this or that, so. But anyway, he's funny. He's really funny. And actually, you learn some stuff from him, from his research. But The Shining, you know, some people like it, some people don't. You know, the book, I believe, ended it when it's cold, or the movie in the book is when it's hot, I believe. So it's kind of opposites, as I understand. So, but you know, there's some scenes and lines in the movie that are very well known. So some people love the movie and some people don't like the movie, and Stephen King just does not like that movie of The Shining. So hopefully he likes the miniseries better. I haven't asked him. Then there's Cujo. You know, you take a Saint Bernard, you get stung by a bat, or bit by a bat, and all of a sudden he becomes a crazed dog. Even though my thing is you know, you have Cujo, which is a dog, and then you have like Pet Sematary with a cat. So what is this deal with animals being kind of like, you know, either bitten and get rabies, or a cat that's buried and comes back to life? So what is this? Yeah, Stephen King kind of makes you wonder what really goes on in his head. with some of his stuff. But anyway, he does make cameos, as I said, I think. And it's not on my list, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Creepshow. He's in both of them. Creepshow and Creepshow 2. I own the movies. Just want to make sure, okay, I own some of his movies, but I do own those too. He's like in one whole full, actually he took a lead in one of the stories in Creepshow that came out in 82. And just here's a little information, a little fun fact for you. If you've seen Creepshow, the little boy in the very beginning and at the very end of the movie that's actually reading the comic book, that is Stephen King's son. I believe that is his oldest son, Joe. He's got 3 kids. Daughter is the oldest and 2 sons. The daughter is a reverend down in Florida, and the 2 sons are actually authors and have written stuff. Joe, the oldest, he tends to go by Joe Hill instead of, he kind of dropped the King. I guess maybe he didn't want any help from his dad, or say, ooh, compared to his dad, or whatever. But I think he's made a name for himself. I saw just, a whole thing, a list of books that he's done, and his youngest son, Owen King, is an author too, and so his wife, Tabitha. It's just like a family affair, except for the daughter decides, don't want anything to do with writing, thank y'all. Just like Stephen King's dad was an author in his own right, as I understand. He was in the Navy. And so I didn't do too much research on him, because he kind of looked at the picture of him, he kind of... Anyway, keep my mouth shut. Let's see, what else? I just keep flipping. I don't have to keep flipping. Dead Zone, 1983, directed by David Cronenberg. Christopher Walken. I watched a few. I know there's a TV series, and I'm not really sure if I put that on, which I did. So next chapter 2, well, I'll talk about the TV one. Not too much, but there was a TV series that lasted a few years. So yeah, Dead Zone. I think I have. Yeah, chapter 2, or maybe there may be a chapter 3. Because I kind of wrote down, because as I said, Stephen King's kind of big, and I had to kind of do it, and I'm doing it in chapters, because, well, hey, he's an author, so this is chapter 1. Christine, the book, adapted, directed by John Carpenter. If it wasn't for Stephen King, as I understand, the car that was used in the movie, probably the book, but that the car that was used was actually kind of like a dud back in the 50s, I believe, and so no one, they put out a new car versus this car, and everyone went to that car instead of the one that was actually used in Christine. And so so with his book and the movie, using that car, kind of put a buying spree of that car, pretty much made it a hot commodity after the movie, basically. And I'm quite sure the book, I guess people actually seeing it on the movie, on the screen, like, oh, I gotta have that car, that's neat. Or reading the book, hey, I want this, whatever car, like what, good luck. Quite sure the movie had some help. So, yeah, Christine's kind of funny. She talks through her radio, kind of like Bumblebee from the Transformers. Using the 50s music, 60s. So, anyway, Silver Bullet, Corey Haim, Megan Fellows, Gary Busey, came on 85, a werewolf movie. So, I own that one. I own Christine. So there's there's a few movies of his I own. Most of well, a lot. I want to say a lot, maybe not most, of King's work. You know, as I said, horror, supernatural fiction. But he has the movies that aren't even in that genre, or to me, it's like a drama or action, maybe adventure type. um, Even though, let's see, suspense. I'm trying to figure out what would this one be classified under. I classify it under drama, but whatever. Not silver, not silver bullet. I'm done talking about this one. 1986. There was a movie that came out, and four boys. You know, they just said, "Hey, let's go see a body," and that was actually, I think, the title of the story. But the movie is Stand By Me, directed by Rob Reiner. It's not the only one Stephen King's movies he directed. Book adaptation. So you got Will Wheaton and Corey Feldman, Jerry O'Connell, and River Phoenix playing the four leads. John Cusack is in it. Kiefer Sutherland is in it. And of course, narrator Richard Dreyfuss. Some other people you may recognize. But yeah, Stand By Me is one. I own that one, and it's funny, it's sad, and it's I don't know, it's heartfelt, maybe. You know, they're gonna go see a dead body. I mean, yeah, hey y'all, let's go see a dead body. I know where one is. Let's go. How many people can raise your hand? Have you done that before? I have not. Yeah. Tennis. Actually, I'd rather deal with the dead, I think, versus the living, because sometimes the living makes me want to kill them. Yeah, but you know, you kind of sometimes I think maybe art imitates life a little bit, in a sense. You know, at the end, Chris Chambers, played by River Phoenix, he's the first of the four boys that dies, and in real life, he died like 7 years after the movie came out, after he made the movie. So, but he wasn't stabbed like Chris Chambers was, like his character was. He was just different way. But anyway, okay. This one right here, I'm a big fan of the original, and of course a remake came out like a year or two ago, and I think last year, and it really makes me, I almost can flip a coin which one is better, because they're actually both good. And Stephen King, I know, is definitely in the original. I don't recall if he's in the remake or not. But anyway, what's your name? Mary Lambert directed this back in 1989, and involves this 18-wheeler and this cute little boy. Anyway, and a cat, as I mentioned earlier, Pet Sematary. When I heard that they're remaking this movie, I was like, please, I don't care what they do, man. Keep the cat the same breed, because I love Church. Church in the original was like the best. It was scarier, actually. But then you see the cat, and then you see the cat from the remake, and you see the remake, and it's like, take any ordinary cat, it's not really a certain breed, and then you just like cat you get from like a animal shelter or something, or a humane society or whatever, and it's like, that could be a little bit scarier. So I haven't read the book, as I said. Well, I think they say the remake is closer to the book than the original. So I don't know. I do prefer, not that John Lithgow didn't do a good job, but I prefer Judd from the original. You know, Fred Gwynn, I believe his name, Fred Munster. Mr. Munster. He just, I don't know, he had the voice. But there is this video which actually, y'all, if you guys go up to Maine, you can go see a lot of filming locations from Stephen King's films, from his work. But there's the semi was specially built for Pet Sematary. The truck, the semi 18-wheeler, what just like it probably was made for Maximum Overdrive. Anyway, but because I'm not really talking about that one, but that's the movie that he directed, because he wasn't happy with anyone else's version or adaptation of his work, and so he said, you know what, I'm gonna direct my own movie. But you know what, it ended up being the worst of his films, and it's his fault. Sorry, Mr. King. Sorry, Stevie. But even he said he don't like it. His wife's in it too. Anyway, Pet Sematary. There's this guy, Mobile Instinct, another YouTube guy you can watch. He actually went to some filming locations from Pet Sematary, as in the original, not the remake. This is before the remake was even out. So, but he went to the house, and you know the little trail that they walked to go to the Pet Sematary. Well, that trail does not go to the Pet Sematary. That trail actually goes like maybe 10-15 feet past the end of that trail. Goes to like a little river or creek that's like right there by the house. But you know where Gage runs out to the street, you know, to find the kite. That land is actually right there at that house. And then across the street where Judd's house is, that house is totally different. But what they did was they built like an outer shell around that house, so that because they knew they were gonna burn it. So what you see, Judd's house is actually just a cover over that guy, over the owner's house that they built. So I don't know if they like went out of town for during that time, or they lived there and just kind of was incognito for a while the filming was done. But anyway, but the semi, it's actually there on that road. You have to drive until you find it. It's parked there on the side of the road, and you can even open it up and look inside, and they have like a picture of, you know, the filming, some picture from the filming, and I think Stephen King's signature is on there too. I don't know, I'm not really sure on that one, but I think there's a picture, and that's, yeah, that rig's there somewhere on that road, because that dude found it. And not too far from where the house is, and is actually where you go to the Pet Sematary, or where the cemetery used to be, and you actually do walk up past it to get to the part where the Indian burial ground was. So that part's actually kind of real. They actually had to go through that and up that and down to actually get to the Indian burial ground. So some of it actually, anyway. But Stephen King, in that one, he played, I dropped my pen. He played a reverend, and so that was his part in the original. One of my favorite lines of movies, I think, actually is from Pet Sematary, and it's the doctor telling, I think Judd, actually, right after Gage dies, that God sees the truth, but waits. Don't know if that was actually Stephen King's line from the book, or if it's actually just one that was made up from the movie, but it's kind of a neat line. So, because I think it's true. God does see the truth, but he just waits. I know how you're going to die. I'm going to make you suffer first. Thanks! Anyway, next, let's move on to the 90s, shall we? And I am going to get my pen real quick. I'm back. Alright, so 1990 is another Rob Reiner film. Now let's picture Kathy Bates, shall we? Let's all get Kathy Bates in our mind. Now what movie are you picturing her in? Even though this is a Stephen King video, just picture the first movie that comes to your mind when you think of Kathy Bates. Two of them come to mind. This one and Fried Green Tomatoes. But this one is Misery. She won an Oscar for her performance. Oh my gosh, she played a crazy woman. Whew, Lord. The most painful thing seen in that movie to me, she puts the block of wood in between his ankles and she takes that sledgehammer and I'm like, no, she's not going to do it. And go bam! And like, oh, she did it. Oh. Just to keep him there longer. Just to keep James Caan there longer. Whew. She's crazy. Crazy woman. Crazy. Yeah. I wonder, you know, James Caan played a writer. Stephen King is a writer. His wife did that to him. No, just kidding. It kind of makes me wonder a little bit. Alright, hey, you know what? George A. Romero took a crack at directing one of his film adaptations, The Dark Half. I've only seen that once, and it came out in '93, so I really don't remember too much of it. I just do remember it is a very good film, so I gotta watch it again. That's pretty much all I can really say about that one. So some of his film adaptations do have some known directors. Some of them aren't with us anymore, but there are. Anyway, okay, the next two I want to talk about. I forgot what this one was really called. There is a Minty. Let me go back here. Minty has videos. Let's see. Carrie, The Shining, Cujo. You know what? The Dead Zone. I'm quite sure. I mean, he's done so many. I'm gonna have to I'll just talk about that later. I mean, almost every single movie I'm talking about Stephen King, he's done. 10 things you may not know about this movie. So really, seriously. My cat's want to come and visit. She's coming walking up my ladder because I'm not using the tripod right now. It's church. No, anyway. Church. Misery, Dark Half. This one right here, 1994. If you ask me, I know they said in the, actually I just watched the movie, or the show, Minty last night, I think, on this, and it didn't perform well in the box office at first. I think word of mouth kind of helped a little bit. No one kind of understood why it was titled the way it was, and because, you know, Rita Hayworth had a starring role in it. Not really. Yeah, it came out in '94. When did she die? Anyway, you know, Gilda, famous. Woo, you know. Yeah. Shawshank Redemption. Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, a whole bunch of other people in it. What's his name? Clancy Brown. Yeah, he's a pain in the butt. Plays a good bad guy all the time. Most of the time, he plays a bad guy. He just too good of a one. Take a prison movie set in prison. Yeah, it's the movie Shawshank Redemption. Very good film. I love that movie. It was nominated for a Best Picture, and I think it was nominated for other stuff because it was just a great movie. But I don't think the Academy got it right that year as in Best Picture. Forrest Gump won Best Picture. I'm not saying Forrest Gump wasn't a good film, because it is, but Shawshank Redemption was better. And you're shaking my... Get down. Why can't you just get down? Be like church. Anyway, how about another prison one? You got a thing for prison, don't you? Oh, Shawshank Redemption was actually directed by Frank Darabont, and he also did one 5 years later of one of his, another prison one. Frank Darabont is also known as being a major director for The Walking Dead. He's done a lot of episodes, I believe, or has worked on The Walking Dead since, like, day one, I believe. I just know he's was, I don't know if he still is, was attached to The Walking Dead some capacity. The Green Mile, 1999. Tom Hanks, Michael Clark Duncan. May he rest in peace. Yeah, he just had a, that was another good one. I think that was probably nominated for Academy Awards too. I didn't really do that type of investigation for this film, this video. So, but let's try to pick this up. Let's do 3 more. See, as I said, he's done a lot. I'm only talking about just a certain number of movies, and a lot of his motion pictures. Well, were done there weren't done any, let's say, in the 80s, there were more motion pictures and TV movies of his. I will say that. And it's like he took the 80s off, or it's from like 79 to like 1990 or whatever. So it's like he didn't do any TV movies or miniseries in the 80s. It's just strictly film. The next one I really like has Johnny Depp in it, and has John Turturro, and it's kind of, I think I heard this somewhere. Reminds me, it's very Hitchcockian, like after Hitchcockian. It's weird. Another writer. Johnny Depp plays a writer, and is kind of, I think he's, was he kind of tortured by a character, I think, from the story he's trying to write, I believe, if I understand it right. It's been a while since I've seen it. I own it, so, but I do know it reminds me of like after Hitchcock. So, if you like Alfred Hitchcock, you may like Secret Window. Came out in 2004. Here's a movie my dad likes, and I saw it, and I was like, it was okay. But Morgan Freeman, John Cusack, and it's 1408. Came out in 2007. Maybe I'm just not giving it a crap seat again, but I did, Minty did do a video on that, and 10 Things You May Not Know About 1408. And so I just have to watch it again. And then another one, let's see, another 2007 movie. The last one I'm going to talk about. I believe, what's his name? Thomas Jane is in this. And this can kind of be freaky. It's The Mist. Yeah, got 2 cats, and one of them I made, anyway. Yeah, Where's some Indian burial ground around here? Leave my pin alone, I dropped it again. Cats. The Mist. Yeah. It's almost, can be as frightening as The Fog. I've only seen that movie once, and as I said once before, as multiple times I'm repeating myself, sorry being repetitive, but I haven't read any of Stephen King stuff. So I can't talk about too much. I don't know the differences. I'm not talking about the differences between book versus movie. Sometimes people prefer the movie versus the book. Some people don't. I think someone said that when it comes to, I think Shawshank Redemption may be a better movie than the book. I don't know. But it's not titled, he didn't title it The Shawshank Redemption. He's titled that. I really do think it was like, Rita Hayworth, has something with Rita Hayworth. So, and plus, a lot of his stuff, his work that has actually been adapted has actually been short stories, not just full, novels. So, lock them up next time. Everywhere. So yeah, Stephen King. He's a guy. He's you follow him on Twitter, you know, he yeah, very political on Twitter. So anyway, yeah. So I just got a little bit. Let's see. I will say his upcoming stuff, as I only chose 5 upcoming films. I think there's 11, but I just chose 5 to just jot down and say, hey, since this coronavirus and everything, we don't know when this stuff will be actually put out, because everything has pretty much was stopped, halted, production halted. So everything's gonna be pushed back months, years, whatever. So just know, theatrical. Okay, there are some TV movies that were made of these that are actually going to be put in the theatrical version. But here's one that's going to be put out by 20th Century Fox, unless these are going to change. So, there's already been a few movies titled this, so I don't know what his different. I have to see what the difference of Stephen King's versus the other ones. But he's going to put out he's wrote The Boogeyman, and they're going to make that into a film. So if you read his short story or book, The Boogeyman, hey, see that in the theater. As well as they're going to remake, I don't know who put out the first one, but in '93, but The Dark Half is being remade. MGM is putting it out as of now. Legendary Entertainment. There's already a movie called Rest Stop, but maybe Stephen King's a little bit better, or, well, different than the one I think I own with Joey Lawrence. Cats, they're... Hey! No! No! It's just as bad as kids, I swear, man. They're my kids. Okay, this one, I'm excited about it, but at the same time, I'm kind of cautious about it, because I am such, you have to wait till chapter 2, but, I'm just a big fan of the TV movie of it, so, but, New Line Cinema, usually known for horror, Salem's Lot. So, you know, they, yeah, we'll have to see. I have to film the TV. Yeah, and then there's a TV movie, believe, yeah, there's a TV movie of this one that was put out, and now it's going to be a movie version. Universal's going to put it out in James Wan. Hey, it's going to be good, y'all. I'm going to have to watch the original, the TV version, and then get ready for the James Wan version of the Tommyknockers. So there's more to come, but those are like the kind of the big name or interesting titled ones. So anyway, there are more, you know, there's even 8 upcoming TV movies and stuff of his coming, and y'all just have to wait till chapter 2 for that. But yeah, television is going to be a short, because I have like 8 things to talk about out of all of his list. Just chose like 8. Anyway, I made this video way too long, but this is Stephen King, man. This is going to be like the longest one. Next is going to be, chapter 2 is going to be about TV. And then, chapter 2, yeah. Yeah. I'll just do 2 chapters. I don't think I need 3 chapters. But, anyway. So, film, TV. Also including TV on his best 10, his best 10 films. And then his 5 underrated movie adaptations. And I'll give you the websites I got those off of. And I pretty much did a little bit, some Wikipedia and some other stuff on just him. Because, I think I can kind of trust Wikipedia on his birth date, maybe. I mean, why would they lie on that kind of crap? Woohoo. Make him younger or something. I don't know, whatever. Hey, so, let's see, is there a famous Stephen King, like, movie theme? I think The Shining. I have, like, the best of horror movie themes, and I think The Shining's on there. Other than that, I mean, there's Stand By Me, but it's like a song. But it's a good one, I like it. Yeah, so Stephen King, y'all. Richard Bachman, Thinner. That one's shown on TV some, so I get to see that too. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and sorry it's been forever, but I do have this book. This book I can probably just use information and stuff that I have in that book, in that binder, and I can probably make some videos for, wow, at least a half a year if I do like one a week. Just like I'm going to be doing television for Stephen King here. Chapter 2! That's 2! Uh-oh. I'm ripping my butt. Anyway. So y'all have to wait a week, just like a TV show, to see Chapter 2. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like me. If not, leave comments. Just be nice, be kind. Be kind to one another. Bye.